When they first announced a couple months back that there would be a new Godzilla anime on Netflix, at first I was like, I mean, why? Why are you wasting your time with another stupid Netflix anime instead of focusing on a new movie? Then the first trailer dropped last week and I watched out of curiosity. It's kind of what I was expecting in terms of quality, nothing out of the ordinary. Rodan looks a little skinny, but at the same time they managed to make Gamera look good, so yeah, you lose some, win some, so far so. Then I saw it. The show will probably be trash, but just having Jet Jaguar again will make it worth watching. Anyway, into today's video. Daiei, which had been in its last legs for a few decades by the turn of the millennium, was finally absorbed by its parent company Kadokawa in 2002. The merged studios then decided to celebrate their most valued characters' 40th anniversary with a brand new movie. Carrying the franchise through this milestone was director Ryuta Tazaki, who had previously directed more child-oriented installments of the Kamen Rider and Super Sentai series. As such, one would expect Gamera the Brave to go the exact opposite direction of the most recent incarnation of the character. And indeed, it did. If Shuzuki Kaneko's trilogy from the 90s was a grounded deconstruction of common kaiju and, more specifically, Gamera movie tropes, this new installment of the franchise would be a lovingly made throwback to its golden days, with the naivety, the magic, the children, and the Showa Gamera kinda sucked, didn't it? Okay, new plan then. We take whatever made Gamera special and differentiated it from its peers during its 40-year run and seize it to make a movie that doesn't actually make the crowd unintentionally burst from laughter. But where do we start? With children, probably, as their presence and friendship with the giant turtle has almost always been centerpiece to the saga, much to Toru's envy, as the studio tried to shoehorn child characters here and there into their franchise for some years. Now, if you are familiar with children characters in Godzilla movies, you know what to expect from them in Gamera ones. Annoying, helpless, and poorly acted. We need to avert that, make them empathetic and proactive. Enter Toru Aizawa. The young boy has just recently lost his mother in a car accident and, despite insisting otherwise, has clearly not gone over it yet.
僕の母さんは交通事故で死んだ。母さんは空にいるのではなく、小さな骨になってこの下にいる。
Holy moly, that's dark for a child to think. This has strained the relationship between Toru and his father, who really insists that his son should have let go of the whole ordeal by now. But how can he do that when death keeps hovering over his world, not only with the memory of his late mother, but also in the form of Mei, his mortally sick neighbor and close friend? These are the first steps into a solid experience, unlike the poorly structured ones from yesteryear. After all, Revenge of Iris, the third chapter of the 90s trilogy, had a very similar setup, and we know how that movie turned out. And just like it, Gamera the Brave would follow with a very similar turn of events, with the kids struggling with personal loss, finding a strange egg that soon hatches a mysterious creature, in this case, a turtle. A normal turtle, actually. It is the place where it was being hatched that is mysterious. But here is where the similarities end though, because where the previous movie of the franchise throw us into a nightmarish hellhole where things keep getting worse and worse, Toru's discovery of this small creature is where things will finally start to get right for him, and then they will get wrong. But in the end, they'll get right again. It's movie stuff, you can't really avoid it. Toru names the small turtle he found Toto, just like his mother used to call him, and soon discovers he's anything but a regular reptile. First by noticing a discreet display of sudden increase in size overnight, and then, more overtly, the capability of flying. While Toru and his boys are having the time of their lives with the whole ordeal, Mei warns her friend about the potential dangers the creature may bring to others, as he may actually be the monster Gamera, who died some 30 years before defending Japan from a flock of jaws. Toru says this is nonsense, since Gamera was the size of a building while Toto is tiny whiny.
あったよ。
Even before that though, the reality is that the boy is most likely in denial, since it seems to be Gamera's fate to go down fighting another monster, and the absolute last thing he wants is to lose another person he cares about, once again reiterating the themes of loss and grief in this movie. The film really put the relationship between Toru and Toto center stage, unlike the show of flicks in which they were there more or less to appeal to a certain demographic of the audience. Here the two are established as true companions through a series of scenes early on when the turtle is still an infant, which, dare I say, are actually the best part of this movie about giant monsters. Toto is basically like E.T., incomprehensibly powerful, but also extremely vulnerable, in need of constant care and attention as to not die, something better demonstrated in a scene where the turtle wanders outside of Toru's room while the boy is not around, exposing himself to the dangers of a dad unaware of the little one's presence. See what I mean? It's so cute! He's whimsical and charming in a way unlike any other kaiju I've seen. The closest thing I can think of is Junior from Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla 2, but even then, he's more of a really cool pet the main characters would like to keep but know they can't, than a dramatic step in the protagonist's journey like Toto is here. The more character-driven first half of the movie is necessary for the rest of it to really deliver the required punch. When shit really hits the fan and a giant monster named Zidus comes out of the ocean to eat people and wreak havoc, it's up for an already quite large but still underpowered Toto to stop it. Being not completely grown, there is only so much the turtle can do against his enemy, and he actually spends a sizable chunk of the third act getting his ass handed to him over and over again by Zidus. Of course that Toru gets as desperate as we do for his friend and comes across a difficult decision: hand or not the gem in which Toto was hatched to the creature in order to power him up. If he doesn't, Toto will certainly die and Zidus will proceed with its carnage. If he does, the turtle might use its new power to blow itself up in order to stop the other monster, just like the original Gamera did. Finally coming to terms with the ultimate mystery of this grand adventure called life, Toru and his father rush towards his friend awkwardly stuck into the side of a building and delivers the gem to him. In most giant monster movies, the fighting is the whole cake, the stuff most people are there for. Here this final confrontation between Toto and Zidus is just the icing of the cake, the payoff for the emotional journey taken by those two friends. Once the giant turtle has defeated Zidus and flown away, you know Toru is a different person than he was at the beginning of the movie. He is no longer afraid of death and losing the ones he loves. It is such a weirdly relatable and down-to-earth theme for a kaiju movie to present. The whole package feels more like a family movie than any other in the genre, as if they were really trying to talk to the children of the audience, both the real ones and the ones inside everybody else. And it works especially because of its simplicity. It has an honest and naive charm to it that had long disappeared from monster movies, evoking a sense of wonder missing from other contemporaneous works. Basically, this is a Gamera movie by way of Steven Spielberg, and it's awesome. It finally managed to set Gamera apart from Godzilla as a character by turning up the idealism and juvenile joy that had always been a trademark of the series, showing that the character was always supposed to be standing for the children in the audience and proving that this could be more than just a marketing gimmick, becoming an essential part of a compelling narrative about growing up. Of course that, once again, Gamera would fail to meet his studio's expectations when it came to box office numbers. It was a good present to the character, but nothing more. To date, this has been the last movie of the franchise, and bound to stay like that for some time. It's a little poetic that a movie about dealing with the loss of someone you love has to be the last chapter of the franchise. But if Gamera the Brave taught us anything, it's not to be concerned over the possibility of death, instead celebrating and pursuing life. Just like Toto will forever be in young Toru's heart, we know that the giant turtle, friend of all children, will remain in ours as long as there is wonder to be found in monster movies.
さよならガメラ。